2 Chronicles 1. Solomon the son of David was strengthened in his kingdom, and the Lord his God was with him, and made him exceedingly great. And Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the captains of thousands and of hundreds, to the judges and to all the governors throughout Israel, heads of families. And Solomon went, and all the congregation with him, to the high place that was in Gibeon, for there was the tent of the congregation of God, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, had made in the wilderness. But David had brought up the ark of God from Kiriath-Jearim to the place he had prepared for it, because he had pitched a tent for him in Jerusalem. Also the copper altar that Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Ur had made, was there before the tabernacle of the Lord, and Solomon and the congregation were seeking him. And Solomon offered sacrifices there before the Lord on the copper altar that was in the tent of meeting, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings over him. That same night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, "Ask for what you want me to give you." And Solomon said to God, "Thou hast shown great kindness to David my father, and hast made me king in his stead. Now, Lord God, let your word be confirmed, given to my father David, because you have made me king over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now therefore give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people, for who could judge this so great a people?" Then God said to Solomon, "Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the death of those who hate you, nor have you asked long life, but you have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may be able to judge to my people, over whom I made you king. Wisdom and knowledge are given to you, and I will give you riches, wealth and honor, such as no king before you had, nor after you." So Solomon came to Jerusalem from the height that was in Gibeon, from before the tent of meeting, and he reigned over Israel. And Solomon gathered chariots and horsemen, and had 1,400 chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, which he placed in the chariot cities, and beside the king in Jerusalem. And the king caused gold and silver to be in Jerusalem like stones, and cedars in as much abundance as the wild fig trees that are in the meadows. And the horses that Solomon had were brought out of Egypt, and the king's merchants received them in troops, each at his price. And they brought each chariot up and out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and each horse for 150, and so threw them were to all the kings of the Hittites, and to the kings of Syria. 2 Chronicles 2. And Solomon determined to build a house to the name of the Lord, and also a house for his kingdom. And Solomon appointed 70,000 packmen, and 80,000 stonecutters in the mountain, and 3,600 overseers over them. And Solomon sent to Hiram, king of Tyre, saying, "As thou didst to David my father, in sending him cedars to build a house for him to dwell in, so do thou also to me. Behold, I am about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, to consecrate it, to burn fragrant incense before him, and for the continual presentation of the showbread, for the morning and evening burnt offerings, on the Sabbaths and on the new moons, and in the festivals of the Lord our God, which is Israel's perpetual obligation. And the house that I am about to build must be great, because our God is greater than all gods. But who would be able to build him a house, since the heavens and the heavens of heavens cannot contain him? And who am I, that I should build him a house, except to burn incense before him? So now send me a skilled man to work in gold, silver, bronze, iron, purple, scarlet, and blue, and who knows how to work with a chisel, together with the experts who are with me in Judah and Jerusalem, whom David my father prepared. Also send me cedar wood, cypress wood, and some trees from Lebanon, for I know that your servants know how to cut wood in Lebanon, and behold, my servants will be with your servants. And that to prepare a lot of wood, because the house that I am about to build must be great and wonderful. And, behold, to thy servants the cutters, who cut the wood, I will give 20,000 cores of beaten wheat, 20,000 cores of barley, 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil." And Hiram king of Tyre answered in writing that he had sent to Solomon, saying, "Because the Lord has loved his people, he has made you king over them." And Hiram said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who made heaven and earth, who gave King David a wise son, of great prudence and understanding, who would build an house for the Lord, and for his kingdom. Now therefore I send a wise man of great understanding, namely, Hiram Abihu, son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, and whose father was a man of Tyre. He knows how to work in gold, silver, bronze, iron, stones and wood, in purple, in blue, in fine linen and in scarlet, and is skillful in all the work of the burin, and in all kinds of work. Inventions of any kind, whatever they propose to him, together with your experts, and the experts of David, my lord, your father. Now therefore, my lord, send to his servants the wheat, the barley, the oil and the wine, of which he spoke. And we will cut as much wood in Lebanon as you need, and we will bring it in rafts across the sea to Joppa, and you will bring it up to Jerusalem. And Solomon numbered all the foreign men that were in the land of Israel, according to the census which David his father had numbered them, and there were found 153,600. And he appointed of them 70,000 bearers, and 80,000 cutters in the mountain, and 3,600 overseers, to make the people work. 2 Chronicles 3. And Solomon began to build the house of the Lord in Jerusalem, on Mount Moriah, where the Lord had appeared to David his father, in the place which David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And he began to build in the 2nd month, on the 2nd day, in the 4th year of his reign. And these were the foundations that Solomon laid to build the house of God. The length in cubits, according to the first measure, was 60 cubits, and the breadth 20 cubits. And the courtyard, which was in front, was 20 cubits long, according to the width of the house, and the height was 120, and on the inside he overlaid it with pure gold. And the big house lined with beech wood, and then he overlaid it with fine gold, and he made over her palms and chains. Also the house adorned with precious stones, for ornament, and the gold was the gold of Parvaim. Also in the house he overlaid with gold the beams, the thresholds, its walls and its doors, and he engraved cherubim on the walls. He made more the house of the most holy place, the length of which, according to the breadth of the house, was 20 cubits, and also the breadth 20 cubits, and he overlaid it with fine gold, the weight of 600 talents. The weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold, and the chambers he overlaid with gold. He also made in the house of the most holy place 2 movable cherubim, and overlaid them with gold. And as for the wings of the cherubim, their length was 20 cubits, the wing of one of them was 5 cubits long and reached the wall of the house, and the other wing of 5 cubits, and touched the wing of the other cherub. Also the wing of the other cherub was 5 cubits, and it touched the wall of the house. It was also the other wing of 5 cubits, which touched the wing of the other cherub. And the wings of these cherubim stretched out 20 cubits, and they were standing, and their faces were toward the house. He also made the veil of blue, purple, scarlet and fine linen, and set cherubim upon him. He also made 2 pillars in front of the house, 35 cubits high, and the capital, which was on each one, was 5 cubits. He also made chains in the oracle, and put them on the heads of the pillars. He also made 100 pomegranates, which he put between the chains. And he set up the pillars before the temple, one on the right, and one on the left, and he called the name of the one on the right Jachin, and the name of the one on the left Boaz. 2 Chronicles 4. He also made an altar of brass, 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 10 cubits high. He also made the molten sea, 10 cubits from edge to edge, round, and 5 cubits high. He girded it round about with a cord of 30 cubits. And underneath it were figures of oxen, which girded the sea all around, 10 to a cubit, going around it, and had 2 rows of oxen, melted together with the sea. And the sea was laid upon 12 oxen, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east, and the sea was set over them, and his hind parts were all towards the inside. And it was a span thick, and its brim was made like the brim of a cup, or like a fleur-de-lis, of a capacity of 3,000 baths. He also made 10 sinks, and he set 5 on the right and 5 on the left, to wash in them. What belonged to the burnt offering they washed in them, but the sea was for the priests to wash in it. He also made 10 golden candlesticks, according to their shape, and put them in the temple, 5 on the right and 5 on the left. He also made 10 tables, and set them in the temple, 5 on the right and 5 on the left. He also made 100 bowls of gold. He also made the court of the priests, and the great court, as well as the gates to the courtyard, which he overlaid with copper. And he set the sea on the right side, toward the east, toward the south. Hiram also made the pots, shovels and basins. So Hiram finished doing the work he was doing for King Solomon in the house of God. The 2 pillars, the globes, and the 2 capitals on the heads of the pillars, and the 2 nets, to cover the 2 globes of the capitals, which were on the tops of the pillars. And the 400 pomegranates for the 2 nets, 2 rows of pomegranates for each net, to cover the 2 globes of the capitals that were on top of the pillars. He also did the groundwork, and the basins he set on the bases. A sea, and the 12 oxen under it. In like manner the pots, shovels, forks, and all their utensils, made Hiram-Abijah King Solomon for the house of the Lord, of burnished copper. In the plain of Jordan the king melted them, in the clayey land, between Succos and Zereda. And Solomon made all these articles in such great abundance that the weight of the copper could not be ascertained. Solomon also made all the objects that were for the house of God, as well as the golden altar, and the tables, on which were the showbread. And the candlesticks with their lamps of fine gold, to light them according to custom before the oracle. And the flowers, the lamps and the wickers were of gold, of the finest gold. As well as the erasers, bowls, spoons and censers of the finest gold, and as for the entrance of the house, the doors thereof within the most holy place, and the doors of the house of the temple, they were of gold. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and leave a comment.